Hello there, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Get Ready With Me video. This is a special drugstore edition. So every product that I use today is gonna be from the drugstore. I have a lot of new hyped products like the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Highlighter, the LA Girl Matte Bronzer Duo, as well as the LA Girl Cream Blush, and some other products that aren't new to the market, but they're new to me, like the Wet n Wild Dewy Focus Foundation. So we're gonna be doing a full face of drugstore. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. All right, first things first, we're going to apply a good old eyeshadow primer. This is not new to me. This is the Milani eyeshadow primer. It is, in my opinion, the current best from the drugstore. Next, I really need something on my lips. So I had this for a couple weeks and used it a few times, but it's the NYX This is Juice Gloss in Strawberry Fix, and it says it's electrolyte infused color. So it really doesn't have much color at all, but it smells fruity and glides on the lips. We'll have to see how much moisture is there by the end. But there we go. Looks nice and juicy. Doesn't feel thick and not sticky. So not sure how long it'll last. But all right, we're gonna head back to the eyes, and I am using a relatively new palette that I've seen a lot of people rave about, and I have to agree. I've only used this a couple times, but this is from LA Girl. It's the Sun-Kissed Glow palette. And very neutral. I think it's going to be perfect going into fall, but I feel like this has a really good mix of mattes and shimmers. So we're going to start here today, and then I have some liquid shadows we're going to use kind of mixed in with some of these powders. So let's go right to the brow bone highlight shade. You know, that's where I like to start. Let's go in with this shade right here. This might be a little dark. Let's see. I've got a lot of sunless tanner on. Nope, that should work fine. It's not going to be super brightening under the brow, but these are silky smooth mattes. I think they blend nicely. Right, let's go in with something a little peachy. Let's go in with the shade right here, and then I might pop in with the shade right below it. But I love these peachy shades through the crease, especially with my yellow undertones that I have in my skin. If you have pink undertones, you might want to go with one of the more neutral shades. The one right next to it right here might be a little better for you. Okay, now I'm going to go in with a little bit of this caramely shade, and this is the Morphe M433. And I really have no idea what look we're doing today. That is thus the reason for the Get Ready With Me title. These videos mean I haven't really planned out a look. I've just pulled out a bunch of products and we're just gonna wing it as we go. Okay, next I'm gonna take a Morphe M433 and let's go in, let's see. I'm gonna do a mix of these two shadows. On camera, this looks almost black, but it is a pretty dark brown, and then the one above it is a little bit warmer. So I'm just gonna mix those two. We're gonna do something a little different here. I'm just going to kind of put this right at the lash line and then blend out. Do the same mix, and now I'm going to go in the outer corner. Don't worry, this isn't going to end up being a dark look. We're going to put some shimmers over it, but sometimes I think doing a shimmer shadow over a base of matte shadows can be a really pretty look, and it just kind of gives a little bit of a gradation of color. So you can see these are very, very pigmented. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm going to take that brush and just a little bit of this and maybe this shade, and let's just kind of blend the top edge of those colors. So there we go. I think that applied nicely. Again, they're silky smooth, and there's a little bit of kick up in the pan, but not much. It's not dust that's flying all over. I'll go back with just a little bit more of that peachy shade right along the top here. Want just a hint of that peeking through. We're gonna go to the lash line next, and I'm using a longtime favorite. This is the Pixi Endless Silky Eye Pen, and this is the shade Black Cocoa. I've actually gone through almost one full pencil in this shade, so had to repurchase it. And I am just basically following right along the edge of the lash line. Out here in the outer edge, I'm just gonna we're gonna wedge it just a little bit, which means we're gonna make it a little bit thicker here in the outer corner. And then I'm going to go right, kind of almost like I was drawing straight out from the middle of the lash line. And I'm not gonna be super precise because we have those dark shadows down. We're just gonna kind of blend this right into those shadows. So I just want the lash line to be really nice and dark so that it makes the lashes look extra thick and full. I'm gonna take the BK Beauty 204 and just gently kind of brush right on the top edge of that liner just to smudge it out slightly before it dries. And then I'll go in with a tiny little bit of that dark shade right there. This palette's so big, it's hard to fit in the camera lens there. All right, and I'm just gonna press this right into the roots so that there's no gap. If you have any skin showing between your lashes and that liner, it's gonna kind of defeat the purpose. So just wanna make sure that that's all filled in. All right, now we're gonna add some fun shimmer, and we're gonna do a couple of different steps here just so we can try some more products. So I have 3 different brands of liquid shadow that we're going to talk about here. So over here, I went a little crazy when I saw these because I was so excited. These are the NYX Glow Shots, Ultimate Glow Shots, and these are a liquid eyeshadow. And I'll show you swatches of these in a moment. And then I also have the Hard Candy. This is Eye Def Metallic Eyeshadow. And this is, I believe, the champagne shade. They don't have the color on here, but I believe it's champagne. And then the LA Girl. This is Dream Glitter Iridescent Liquid Eyeshadow. And I have the shade Rose Gold. So let me show you these swatches. I think you can already tell what my review is going to be of these 3 brands. These 2, so this is the LA Girl, this is the Hard Candy. You can see there is full pigment. They're, shiny, but not, they have some, I think this one has a little bit of glitter particles. This one doesn't, it's just metallic. These are the NYX Glow Shots, and I was so disappointed with these. I've used these 2 a couple times, and there is just not enough pigment. You cannot get enough pigment on their own. They're very streaky. I am super disappointed in those. So we're gonna use the other 2 today. We're gonna use this one and the Hard Candy. Let's go ahead and apply the LA Girl Liquid Glitter. And I'm just gonna tap a little bit of this. I've only used this one, I think, once. And again, it does sheer out, but leaves kind of a good bit of sparkle behind. So if you wanted just kind of a liquid topper, I thought that the NYX ones would be good like this, but they don't have enough pigment to really even show up on top of shadow. So the LA Girl one, it's good. It's not as good though if you're familiar with the Stila liquid shadows. These aren't as pigmented as those. So just FYI. The Hard Candy one, I feel like you're gonna see in a moment. That one I feel is closer to those Stila ones. Let's go ahead and go back to our eyeshadow palette, and we're going to add a little bit of shimmer. Let's see, let's go in. Oh, that's pretty. All right, I think we're going to use a combination of these 2. So let's start off with this one. And this has a little bit of some warm kind of peachy gold tones. And I'm going to bring that further over into those darker shades. So you can see by layering the darker shade underneath, it just kind of provides this nice gradation from the outer corner in. All right, now let's go in with this shade. This is so pretty. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look how bright and pigmented that is. Ooh. That is really pretty. I don't even think I need the hard candy liquid shadow underneath. Look at how much pigment came off of that. Oh, I love that shade. Okay, I think we're gonna just go with that. The lower lash line, I got another color in these Kiko dual-ended pencils, and I believe, oh yes, shade 02, and I think it said like brown or something boring, but this is anything but boring. Let's use the other end under the lower lash line, and sometimes I like adding just a little bit of a shimmery glow under here. And then I'm going to top it with a little bit of eyeshadow. So let's go in with, oh, let's go back to this one. Let's add a little bit of this just right up close against the lash line. And then right here in the outermost part, I'm gonna go in with this matte shade just to connect kind of that upper lash line with the lower lash line. So it doesn't look like the upper half of our eye is just floating up all on its own. That's why I really love using a little bit of shadow or liner here under the lower lash line, and then being sure to connect it with the lower lash line right there. Now just cleaning up under the eyes with a little bit of almond oil. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of color corrector. I'm using the 001 shade from Revlon. This is the 5-in-1 Skin Awakening Concealer, and they have two correcting shades. This one is more of the yellow-based one, and then they have a pink one, which is really brightening. But with my deeper tan on my body and the hopefully darker foundation I'm going to be using, this is a better corrector for me right now. Now before adding actual concealer, we're going to go in with foundation. Again, this is the Wet n Wild Dewy foundation. I've tried the original foundation by Wet n Wild, the non-dewy, I think it's matte. This is the shade Golden Beige. We're gonna hope that this works. It's a little light for me at the moment, but I have some bronzers, so we're gonna hope that that all of these things work together. So this has that famous spatula like the original. It has fragrance added on the ingredients list, and I was a little concerned because I don't always get along with products with fragrance added. I don't know why they added it to this particular formula, but honestly, I hardly detect it. I was reading reviews and some people were like, it's so strong. I can sense a little bit there, but it does not seem that strong to me. Okay, so it is kind of a thinner consistency. Let's just dab a little bit on, and when I am trying to match my foundation, I am trying to match my neck. Just be aware of that because I don't always apply sunless tanner to my face. I'm going to start with the Ecotools 360 buffing brush. I love this brush for thinner type foundations, and wow. Okay, and the only thing I have on my face is my skincare, including the Undefined sunscreen. It's kind of a newer mineral sunscreen I'm trying out. It has a little bit, that's the glow you're seeing. So we'll see how these pair together, but all right, smoothed on nicely. I would say I'm getting medium coverage. Can still see my dark spot and a little bit of redness here. Okay, definitely with one layer, I feel like I have kind of evened out my skin tone. Definitely not full coverage on one layer. Let's see if it's buildable. Add a little more here in this area where I have some more redness. I don't really feel like that built up at all. Let's see, I have dampened, this is the e.l.f. I think it's the concealer sponge. Let's add a little bit to that and try the other side. See if we can keep a little extra coverage there. Okay, that seems to be the way you have to build this up. If you put on one layer with a brush, you might have to go over it maybe with your fingers or a sponge. See, that left the coverage and it took it away over here. So let me add just a little over here. All right, so definitely a lot of glow at the moment. We're gonna let it sink in, do its thing. Let's add a little bit of concealer. I'm gonna use, I think, a combination, either number 40 or number 50 in the Revlon Concealer. Let's add a little bit of 40 and let's see if that's too light. Oh, that might be okay. That's pretty good. That Revlon Concealer, I'm telling you, it is, in my opinion, the best of the drugstore. I just think it is so good, especially for those of us with mature under eyes. Really great product. Okay, while that all kind of sinks in a little bit, before we do anything with powder, we have some more cream products. Let's go next with these babies right here. Okay, this is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I purchased this shade first, and then I thought, you know, I'd like to see if I could use a deeper shade as kind of like a liquid bronzer, because I don't have a liquid bronzer from the drugstore. So we're gonna do that today. This is the shade 2, and then this is the shade 7. Let's go in with the liquid bronzer first. Okay, this is pretty dark. I've tried this once and it worked. Let's hope it goes on well again. Okay, because I'm using this as a bronzer, I'm using this higher up on my cheek than as a liquid contour. I'm going to use the BK Beauty 107 brush. And I mean, you really look how little product. Do you see how little those dots are? Oh my goodness. All right. And the one thing I would say that I feel like is a difference between this and the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I feel like this one dries down quicker, and I feel like it's just a slightly thicker formula than the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. So there we go. Okay, so you can see, I mean, it doesn't take a lot of product. So these products, they do last a very long time. But that worked in really quickly. I feel like I got a little more on this side. Go over with my foundation sponge so you can see how it just added a little more warmth. Then we're gonna add a little bit of the highlighter shade. Let me show you that. So this is shade number 2. And again, very little product needed. I prefer applying this on top of foundation. Some people think that it works well for them under their foundation. I tried that, and of course I was using more of a full coverage foundation, so I didn't feel like much of the highlight actually came through. So you can see it's really nice. Neither of these shades, and I don't think any of the others, they don't have any glitter particles. So that is why these are very good, even if you have mature skin. Right, one more cream product, and then we got a powder, because holy moly, I am looking so glowy. I have not yet tested this out. This is one of the LA Girl cream blushes, and I got the shade Grace. Not sure if this is gonna work or not. From the tube, it looks like a good color, but let's just see. Okay, so a little more on the pink side. I do have pink in my top, so maybe we can make this work. Wow, that was just one little tiny dot. I can see what people are saying. Okay, I'm gonna take my Luxe 522 brush, and I'm actually gonna apply it from the hand, because these types of pigmented cream blushes can get out of control very quickly if we're not careful. Oh, that's pretty. Mixed in with that bronzer. I think that's a good shade. Okay. Pretty. Ooh, okay. We gotta knock down this glow just a little bit. All right, for setting powder, I purchased something I had used in the past, but it has been a very long time since I used it, and I decluttered it somewhere along the line. It is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. So I'm gonna use this to set my whole face. Okay, I'm just going to quickly tap out any creasing. That's why I like to let my concealer sit for a minute or two, kind of let it sink in and then tap out any creasing. And then I'm just gonna, this is a risk, but we're gonna try it. Okay, I'm gonna try a little bit of that Wet n Wild powder to set the under eye. These little tiny triangular velour powder puffs are amazing. I got them off Amazon. I'll try and link them down below, but I'm gonna use this to press in some powder, and I'm not gonna press it in under the eye, but I'm going to press it on the rest of my face and see if we can mattify and blur kind of the rest of the face here. Oh, the miracle of powder. So if you don't like to powder, this is what your skin would look like if you don't powder. All right, I'm pretty impressed with that powder. It's really nice, and you get so much product for very little money. So for contour, I showed this at the beginning. This is the LA Girl Matte Bronzer. Comes in this split pan. They came out with, I think, 2 shades of the bronzer, and I don't know if it was these 2 shades sold separately, but now they put them all together. This is a really nice, smooth, buttery, creamy formula. It is powder, but I just think this is such a nice formula. I'm gonna go in with the BK Beauty 103, and I'm going to just tap kind of between both of them. You don't need much product at all. It is very pigmented. I'm just gonna use this a little lower, kind of just to add a little bit of definition here on the cheek. And then below the jawline and along the hairline as well. I'll take a combination of those 2 shades and use them to contour the nose. All right, now it's not like we need lots more glow, right? Because we've got a lot going on, but I just want to show you these 2 from Essence. This one had an unfortunate accident. We just won't talk about it. This one is the Kissed by the Light. This is 3 different shades, and swirled together, it's a really nice soft glow, and it does have that little bit, you do pick up a little bit of pink, but it's not overly glittery, but I do feel like it's a nice blush topper. And then the other one, it's the highlighter, and what shade did I get? 01 Mesmerizing. This is a smoother texture than the other one, and you're thinking it's gonna be more metallic, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's as metallic as the Maybelline highlighters, the chrome highlighters. Maybe it's close to, I don't know. Let's put just a little bit of this right here on the bridge of the nose. I don't feel like I see any glitter particles. This is a pretty light shade, so this is something I'll probably use a little more going into winter time. I would use this on the inner corner, but I want to go back to the eyeshadow palette. Okay, let's just add a little bit on the top of the cheek here. I don't know, I thought it was going to be a lot more brightening than it ends up being, but I think that can be nice because you don't feel like it gets out of control too fast, because I know some people don't like super high shine, but I mean, you do see that little bit of glow added to all the other ones we have. I'm just gonna tap in with my little damp sponge here. All right, we need some brows. Nothing new here. I'm using the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in Taupe. This is pretty much my go-to no matter what kind of look I'm doing. And then today, instead of my Merit Brow Gel, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Wow Brow in the shade Taupe. All right, let's go back and highlight the inner corner of the eye. I'm gonna use just a little bit of this Hard Candy eyeshadow, just so you can see it. We'll just put a tiny little touch here, but you can see it's a really, really brightening shade. It is more metallic than glitter, which is, I think, the biggest difference between it and the rest of the other liquid shadows. All right, I'm going to top it with just a combination of these 2. So this one's really white. So this is the lightest one, and then this one has a touch of gold. So I feel like the combination of those two will be really pretty. Yeah, I want it just a hint lighter than the rest of the lid, but not too much. All right, just finished curling the lashes, and now for mascara. The Maybelline Sky High Mascara. I have had this in my drawer to try out for a long time, and I keep forgetting. It says it's limitless length, full volume. I've heard some people love this, and I've heard some people hate it, so we're gonna see what we think here. I love the packaging. Let me just say that. Okay, I'm gonna use this on the upper lashes, but on my lower lashes, just because I have huge problems with smudging down there, I'm using the Maybelline Snapscara waterproof version. This is a great drugstore tubing mascara, and I love it on my lower lashes especially. All right, here is what, oh, okay, so this wand is very flexible. It is a rubber bristled wand with tiny little short bristles on it. All right, there's one coat, no mascara primer, obviously, just the mascara. Let's see how much we can build up here. Okay, that's like about at least 3 coats on the upper lashes, and I'm pretty happy with where they are now. I'm just kind of feeling like this might be one of those mascaras that needs to sit for a week or so and kind of slightly dry out. It's a little more of a wet formula. The only thing I'm not a huge fan about, I don't know that I like the flexibility of the brush, because I kind of like the ability to kind of really work it back and forth in the lash line to build volume, and I don't feel like you can do this with the flexible brush. Definitely some length. I'm not sure though that I would say it is full volume, but we'll let it go. It is a nice kind of soft feeling mascara. It doesn't feel real heavy on the lashes. So yeah, there we go. Okay, last but not least, we need something on our lips. I do still have a little bit of shine there, and I feel like that gloss sunk in, but I've got moisture, so that's a good thing. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the Milani Conceal and Correct Concealer just to even out the lip lines. I'm afraid if I use that dewy finish foundation, it might just kind of make everything bleed, because it is a dewier finish, and I don't really want a dewy finish around the edge of the lips. And then I'll just tap a little powder over it. All right, for our final step, the lips. I've been going back and forth. I'm like, I don't know what I want to put on my lips. So I think I'm going to use one or both of these. These are the Super Stay Vinyl Inks from Maybelline. I have Peachy, and this darker shade is Witty. I don't think I want to go quite this dark, but this might end up being a little too peachy. My other favorite color is Cheeky. So this one I feel like is a little more cooler, pinky leaning. But first, we're going to start with a little lip liner. So I'm going to start off with this Revlon lip liner, Color Stay Longwear lip liner. And this is the shade Chocolate. I hope you can still find this. This is kind of a little hard to track down sometimes. All right, then I'm going to blend the edge of that just a little bit. So you can see it's more of a raisin color than chocolate, in my opinion. There's more kind of purpley tones than too warm a brown, but it's a really pretty color. All right, let's start off with Cheeky. Now, if you didn't see my swatch video of these, along with the Urban Decay ones and several other lip products, I'll link that video down below. But you have to shake these for about 5 seconds and then apply. So going in first with Peachy. I think I'm going to leave it with just that color. You can see the outer edge looks a little bit darker over that lip liner, but not bad. All right, let's let this dry. All right, so before we do the finished look, I feel like I need to add just a little more powder. So I'm going to add just a tiny little bit more here and on the forehead here in the center. I feel like I am already really extra dewy. All right, so here now is our finished look. And overall, this is definitely kind of a fall inspired look for me. Even though I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt, it is in fall colors, and I know it's 105 degrees out here today, but I'm really ready for fall. This is definitely a look that I love to do for fall and even kind of throughout the winter. As far as the products that were big wins for me that I would definitely recommend based on my usage today and or previously would definitely be these three products from LA Girl. This eyeshadow palette, I know I've worn it before. The shadows wear well. Of course, I always use an eyeshadow primer, but I think these are really high quality. So if you love those toasty browns, I would definitely check this out. The LA Girl blush, oh my goodness. I was really impressed with that and how pigmented it is, but how beautiful it looks on the skin. The matte bronzer duo, so much product in here, high quality. I also love the Hard Candy liquid eyeshadow. This is the one that I would say is the biggest win out of all of the ones I showed you today. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder. This is definitely one I'm going to keep using. I don't think I love it under my eyes, but the rest of my face, I could see this being a really good powder I'm going to continue to use. I love the Maybelline Vinyl Inks. The e.l.f. Halo highlighters, definitely would recommend these, especially if you don't already own the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. These are definitely super close to that formula, so this would give you an idea of what those are like. And if you already own the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, I don't think you're getting anything better in this, but if you wanted to try a different shade, like a deeper one like I use today, this would be the way to do it and save yourself some money. Essence highlighters are I would say you can skip those. Those are not a must-have. I do love a lot of products from Essence. I love their blushes, but those highlighters, I don't know. Don't think they're fantastic. The Maybelline Sky High Mascara. As mascaras go, I need to use this a few more times to really get an idea. It's not an initial love, but that, again, sometimes it takes another week or two, and then I might fall in love with it. I'll definitely keep you posted. And then that brings us to the foundation. I will put in the description box down below a note of how this wore after 8 hours. But as you saw, I already needed to repowder, and it had only been on my face for, I don't know, maybe half an hour. So I am anticipating that just because I have combination oily skin and it's hot, it's kind of hot in this room right now, this just might not be the right formulation for my skin. I do love the original one. That one I feel like wore a little bit better. And as far as, you know, texture on the skin, that kind of thing, because it's more dewy, I felt like I did see a little more texture and therefore, you know, needed to powder. I don't think it looks bad now. It definitely has glow. And, you know, I didn't put any e.l.f. Halo Glow highlighter right here, and I've powdered there now twice. If you have dry skin and you struggle getting a foundation to look dewy, I would definitely highly recommend checking that out. But for us combo oily skin girls, I don't think this is a win in terms of foundation. All right, that wraps up this video. I hope that was fun for you guys. It's always fun for me to share kind of my first impressions or just what I'm feeling about products as I'm using them with my friends. So I hope that you enjoy it too. As always, all of the products that I used and talked about today will be listed and linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.